Would help if I unmuted the microphones too, huh? ES Cinder, a remix of Dark Souls 3 by Rotaka. Folks, you know what that song means.
Meep.
Meep, no meeps. Meeps are for the end only.
It's the opposite of meeps because
That's
it was
right.
muted.
Yep.
Oh, hell yeah. Yes, I do. After 98 rounds now, it's insert credits with MrBond and myself. And, well, Vlad's joining us again this month as
hooray, bonus
we're able to
people.
be on site after COVID testing.
Hooray!
So, yes.
Be safe, everybody. Get tested, get vaccinated, get boosted, all that fun stuff.
And also get pizza before the show like we did because it's totally worth it.
Very good idea.
I will always point out Sugar River Pizza in the Madison area now that they have, 3 locations, I think. Because the one in Sun Prairie did open.
Yeah, I remember there being 2. I thought the second one was Sun Prairie, but maybe there's a third one. Who knows?
I thought the other was actually in Sugar River.
Sugar River is kind of a region-ish around
Is
here.
It? Well,
so
I don't know. Shrug. Whatever, it's great. Go buy their pizza.
Yeah.
And then listen to our show because you can't be on the show.
Right.
Sorry.
Exactly. But, live vicariously and all that. Well, welcome, everybody. I'm MrBond.
And I'm Tormod.
And I'm Vlad.
And there's Vlad. Bonus people is always cool. This is Insert Credits. This is a podcast / whatever stream, I guess.
Whatever.
Where we talk about video games. We start off with the first segment talking about news, what's been going on in the world. Legal stuff, new releases, new stuff that's happening everywhere. Really fun. And then we break for some fun tune skis, listen to some tunes while we kind of chill out a bit. Then we talk about what we've been playing since last show. And then we do some more tune skis. And then at the end, we do some design live on show with randomized settings, genres, rules, regulations, whatever the heck
and
this generator does, right?
Uh-huh.
Which is always real cool. Sometimes we get a fun mix of things that we have to try to pull a game out of. I think at least twice it's been sort of erotic.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, we've been forced by the randomizer to make smut at least once.
Yeah, at least one. Hey,
at least we try to make it classy smut.
We do. We had to do something, all right? We adhere to our rules pretty closely. Except for that one time last time where we accidentally refreshed the page or something before getting the last
that was sad.
Oh well.
Because I started reading it, it was like, oh yeah, that's tolerable, and then no.
And then womp, technical difficulties, so we had to re-roll a 4th time, and oh well. We made it work. I don't think we actually ever went back to title the thing, but whatever. It will remain untitled for now. But I guess housekeeping. We've got our next couple of shows coming up.
Sure do.
February and March, round 99.
Damn, I have the wrong calendar open. I was all excited.
Round 99 looks like we've got it on the 11th of February.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then
it is.
The magical 3-digit round 100, 18th of March, which is the day after St. Patrick's Day.
It's
so,
true.
hey,
Continued celebration. Yep, indeed.
Celebrations all the way around. So I guess we can pop 101 over there too. It looks like 15th of April would be pretty much dead center.
Yeah, we have 5 Fridays in April, so very blessed month. I guess.
Work? Okay, cool. I will note that down and send out invites later.
Pretty much exactly halfway through that month because it's only 30 days.
Yep, surely is. 30 days hath September, April, June, and November or something. Is that how it goes? I don't know.
Man, I just remember
exactly.
The
knuckle count is the easiest way to go, right? Yep. Okay, cool. So round 101, 15th of April in 2022. And that's a full third of the way through the year if you think about it. So,
ooh.
yeah, that's time. that's time for you.
I like rosemary.
I'm partial to sage.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Anybody for parsley?
Nutmeg?
Oh, God.
It's not a leafy green.
It's also not part of the song, but all right.
Which song is this?
Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme.
Never heard of that one.
No, isn't it I don't think it was Beatles, but it's like... It's the variation on Had You Been to Scarborough Fair or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Well, if it's not video game music,
Parsley,
no, I haven't
sage,
heard of it.
rosemary, and thyme, blah, blah, blah. No?
Yeah.
All right. It's some oldies thing that I heard probably several times whilst growing up, so I don't exactly remember what it was.
I'm familiar as well.
Yeah, we'll look it up and get back to the
Sounds great.
I guess.
So you even got some free singing in there.
Yeah, see, why not? We aim to please and entertain. Well, around the world, let's head into some news. Let's start with the bad news first because hey, nowhere to go but up from there. Various NFT crap making the rounds in our chosen video game industry. So, well, Ubisoft did their whole NFT thing a while back already, and it flopped. Hooray! Fuck you, Ubisoft, for even trying to do that.
I mean, fuck them anyway, but
Yeah, well, yeah, naturally,
especially
but
because of
also, but also, fuck you, Ubisoft, for doing that. So hot on their heels, Square Enix has announced that they're going to be pursuing blockchain and/or NFT stuff. What?
yeah, and they've like quadrupled down on it too.
Good gravy.
They think it's the future of gaming.
It seems, however, that the Square Enix fans are not particularly convinced just yet, which is good. They are getting roundly roasted for their announcements and choices to continue to double down on it. So
Both in Japan
good.
and America,
Yeah.
and probably elsewhere.
So good job, Square Enix. You're really putting your foot in it right now, aren't you? Konami is doing a stupid NFT release of classic Castlevania stuff. Songs and JPEGs, of course, and I don't know, some other garbage, like, which kind of tracks for Konami as a whole since they haven't made an actual game for multiple years, so, you know, why not? Yeah, so that's not great for Konami as it goes. And then a slightly less bad news, Sega is taking a very cautious approach. They have announced that they are not doing anything yet with NFTs and blockchain. In fact, they're specifically calling out the fury of fans of other companies after those NFT announcements have been made. So they're like, you know what? We don't see the value to players yet. They haven't outright said that they won't do it ever, which is unfortunate, but...
Kind of like Discord.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of companies are sitting directly on the fence, just waiting for the Overton window to figure itself out.
So, I mean, not exactly good news that Sega is not going with it, but not exactly bad news in that they haven't announced anything yet. So, take that as you will. Riot Games. We remember Riot Games. Way back in 2018, they tried to settle a harassment and discrimination class action lawsuit by paying out a paltry $10 million. Well, luckily, the state of California's Department of, let's see, I even wrote the name down because it was a long name. Department of Fair Employment and Housing said, nope, try again. So now they're settling for $100 million. 80 million of which will be going to the claimants, 20 million to the lawyers, of course, but hey, that's a far sight better of a payment than $10 million. Give me a break. So I guess slightly positive. Who knows if this will actually result in change at Riot Games, but we can always hope. E3 2022 has been confirmed to be fully online/virtual this year again, following closely on the heels of their fully virtual event last year in 2021. Of course, 2020 they canceled outright because of the uptick in the pandemic. So at least they are showing a modicum of thought in continuing their events online and virtually, unlike CES 2022, which was still physical and in person, although, as it sounds from what I've read about it, was quite thoroughly underattended by both attendees and companies, pulling out left, right, and center there. And they also ended it a day early, too, so, you know.
I'm hearing that it's kind of flagging as an event overall, so... Can't say I'm surprised.
Yeah, not really surprised either. But the fact that they went ahead with a physical event, anyways, is just kind of not really the greatest of ideas. But hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh boy, legal stuff just keeps on coming for Activision Blizzard. Although this one is not even related to the whole harassment and bad Bobby Kotick shit that's been going around the past few months. Activision has filed a federal lawsuit against German cheat makers for COD Warzone. Claiming copyright infringement, violation of terms of service, amongst a whole bunch of other things. Active encouragement and profiting from these cheat makers based in Germany. So I don't know how far they're going to get with this, but it is a nominally positive move in trying to protect that game from cheaters. So good job, Activision. I say in the smallest voice possible. We'll see how that turns out, and just getting the first wins of it right now. So I'm sure next month we'll have some results. Well, not 100% positive next month we'll hear some results, but at least the ball is rolling on that.
I'm sure we'll have more to say.
Yeah. Take-Two, already the owners of Rockstar Games and 2K and Codemasters, will be acquiring Zynga for $12.7 billion. Billion.
Why did I
with a
ever
B.
have to hear that name again?
I know, right? This could have just done without it at all.
How many years ago was that when we just completely dragged them?
I feel like this is 5 or more.
It had to have been.
5 or more at this point. But boy howdy, $12.7 billion to spend on an acquisition. That's a lot of money. Apparently they see value. It's like, personally, I don't. Zynga and their ilk can promptly go DIAF, but hey, that's only my opinion. Damn, I had a lot of bad news this month. I hope somebody else has some good news. Oh no.
Well, yeah, okay. Mine's at least neutral and trending well.
Okay, that's good.
So this is a tale of two companies doing dramatically different things.
Okay.
So there's chip shortages, obviously, and we even heard news of Canon telling people how to get around their cartridge DRM because they ran out of chips to do the validation. So similarly,
right.
other manufacturers are like, well, what the fuck do we do? There's too much demand for the supply we have, and we can't just keep raising prices. Tesla. Microsoft has decided that they're going to discontinue making all Xbox One SKUs. Apparently they had been until now. Decided, nah, we need to dedicate our resources to the new stuff, which is good, even though it's a totally separate architecture, but
right.
good all the same. Meanwhile, Sony, they must think people can't math, because while they're completely out of PS5s and continue to be, despite all the stock refreshes and whatnot, and their Walmart Plus and all this other bullshit, like having, exclusive in-crowd releases for these things if you buy their memberships and stuff, Sony decided, fuck it, let's make more PS4s. That'll make people happy. So, yep, that's what they decided to do. Yeah. I'm still scratching my head on that one. Nintendo continues to keep selling out of their Switch everywhere, and it's 5-6 years old now.
Yeah.
A little long on the tooth.
Yeah, a little bit. But still selling and still got titles coming out for it, and people still like it. So
And Mario Kart 8 keeps selling out constantly. And so about Mario Kart, totally failed to put that in my notes, so I might remember to type these up. But allegedly, there are rumors of Mario Kart 9, or it's skipping the number 9 because Mario Kart Tour already came out.
Right, okay.
And going to 10. But the rumors, all of these market analysts keep hearing murmurings of it being kind of like what Smush was, except for kart racing, where there's a bunch of characters across different franchises coming in, and it's going to be this big to-do. So if you want to make the Smush of Mario Kart, I'm in.
Okay, sure.
It's been way too long, considering Mario Kart 8 was released on the Wii U, and it barely got a rehash on Switch where it added double item boxes, rather.
Well, and they made battle mode better and some other little...
Okay, as someone who, had not booted up battle mode since 64, until I was over the holidays with you, I would love to have some fresh Mario Kart content. And honestly, I'm not into the whole augmented reality thing. Mario Kart Tour did nothing for me. So
it's the whole mobile-ish title, and everybody's got cell phones, right? And all that sort of thing.
Okay. Regardless, I would love to see that. So, if you want to release that as like one of your last big hurrahs before you go to your next big thing, I'm all for it. I'm just going to leave that there.
I mean, considering the base Mario Kart 8 is 7+ years old now.
Yeah.
Phew.
That's a thing to think about.
I was very excited when that came out. I'm still excited to play it now, but it's a little tired.
Fair enough.
I mean, at least it's got 64 tracks? 48?
4 times 10.
6 on the top row,
No, it's
6 on the
48.
bottom, 12 times 4, 48. Yeah.
Yeah. I had to think. I was just like, oh yeah, it's the number of races we choose when we do the random. Yeah. 48 with the DLC. Now, originally, 4 of those cups were DLC on the Wii U, but they came with the game on Switch.
Right, as part of the whole deluxe package. Plus, X number of new things, battle mode, new characters, etc., etc.
Mercedes GLX.
I'm surprised they're not going more that route for the smush of Mario Kart than just bringing more
Please don't.
vehicle manufacturers.
Nintendo's been pretty alright about not, totally selling out all of their games.
Yeah.
Mercedes, though.
Yeah, that felt a little out of place, I agree.
But in any case, Mario Kart 9, 10, whatever the fuck you call it, as long as it's on a console, as long as I can play it with friends on a TV, I'm good. Just do something. Or I'll have even more reason to hack my Switch and download ROM hacks, because if you won't, they will.
Oh no, Mario Kart Black, but for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
I still have that on my drive. Someday.
That was a wild experience.
That was watching the AI try to figure out tracks that definitely were not to the same quality as the originals. So they were like, I don't know what to do. But anyway. Great, now I want to play Mario Kart tonight. Gee darn.
Oh, it's not like we'd have access to it or anything.
Not at all. Not actually
multiple
all
different
of
ways.
them on every console. Mario Kart Wii. We should play Mario Kart Wii. It's been a while.
Oof. Dolphin Dasher.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the only one with Dolphin Dasher in it, you shitheads. Put Dolphin Dasher in Mario Kart 9 or 10 or whatever the heck it is.
That'd be great. It would be great. Damn, now I want that. Fuck it. We're done. Let's go.
All right, show's over. See you, folks.
Yep, bye.
Roll outro.
Mario
Actually,
Kart the show.
Meep. That was a double entendre, sort of.
Sure.
In the non-pervy sense, because everybody assumes that it's. Anyway,
I didn't.
Well, double entendre, people are like, oh, it's horny.
Well, of course, naturally. I mean.
Okay, moving on. Square Enix.
Boo.
Yeah. So they pushed out Final Fantasy 16 by half a year because they're actually giving their developers time.
Oh, wow.
What a concept.
Jeez.
Oh, wow. All right. Allegedly, their next major announcement is coming in February-ish. They're saying spring now. We'll see how I feel when that comes out. Allegedly, it's a PS5 exclusive for a year, kind of like what FF15 was. If it comes out on PC and things aren't quite as shitty by then, we'll have a talk.
So is this going to be another mainline Final Fantasy release or another weird offshoot like online, or was it 14 that did that? Or
This is a
11,
non-MMO.
Okay, very good.
So this is I couldn't even tell you what it's about, really. Like, it's more sword and sorcery stuff. It's actually like medieval kingdom-y stuff,
Okay,
but
so
like
no cars, no guns.
transforming child or some such. I don't know. It's weird.
It's ye old RPG.
Okay.
It's a JRPG.
There's gonna have to be crystals involved, though. Like,
Yeah, well, of course.
gotta have
That's
Naturally.
That's what you do with every Square property, even the ones that aren't Final Fantasy.
yeah, sure enough.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. Not picking it up on PS5 because I sold my PS5 because nothing was coming out for it. So yeah, if that ever shows up on PC and Square Enix isn't a total fuckhead, one collective fuckhead, at that time we'll revisit that. Valve, however, they had a little delay of their own, but not by much. The Steam Deck, if you remember that, it's now due for release by the end of February. So Valve just kind of reminded people, yep, we're on it. We've secured some hardware. We think this process is going forward. So on and so forth. They've been working on their operating system and whatever else. So, okay, I still have a reservation for it. I forgot until I read that article. So allegedly, I'm eligible to get one.
So end of February, contingent upon you were one of the first wave of reservations, I
would
presume?
have to assume.
Yeah, because I think last time I looked at mine, it was June or July of 2022. I'm like, oh, whatever.
Wait, they have an estimate?
I thought, well, I think that's what it said when I went to the reservation page for it. Like if you were about to make another a new reservation for us, like June, July of 2022, I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I'm in no rush. Like I just slapped down $5 because hey, $5 to make a decision later.
Yeah, exactly,
Easy.
and it's fully refundable. Yeah. So okay, well now that you've distracted me, I am gonna go look at that because I'm real curious. Of course, I have to dig out my Steam, whatever it's called, the thing with the code on the phone and
The guard and the mobile and the
Steam Guard. Yeah, not Steam.
There we go.
It's kind of funny with the small reservation deposit. It's almost the same kind of sales tactic as a Steam sale, where it's like, here it's such a small price, and pay for the option, and then you have another game that you'll never pay and won't bother to refund.
Well, dang, how do you even look at pre-orders on Steam?
That is
never
a good
had to.
question.
Account details.
I don't know.
I'm assuming it's something to do with the store.
I had to search even to find the basic reservation link, so who knows where
purchase
the
history here. We'll look at that.
actual thing is.
Okay, I found the deposit. I don't see a... Wow, shit. This thing came out in July or was announced in July?
I get, yeah. That sounds about right.
All right, cool. $5. That's how much I put down, and there's no info on this thing.
All right, well, come end of February, you will know.
Maybe.
One way or another.
We'll find out. Hopefully they have my address. Cool. Moving on. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be able to be hooked up to a TV. That's pretty neat. AG2Q is going on right now.
Presently, yes.
It started Sunday. It ends late Saturday, going into Sunday. They've had really solid donation numbers this entire week so far. They're sitting at, I don't know what they are right now. I'm actually going to look. But they were at 1.7 million, just short of starting the show tonight. Really? Twitch.tv/games done quick. Let's have a look-see here. Muted my laptop just in time. We're good. Survey says, please load the damn page. It's an ad. I'll let you know.
Good answer.
Love it. Yeah, they were at 1.7 million just around 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Earlier today, they were at 1.3.
Dang.
So they're picking up pace. They had a lot of high dollar amount incentives today, lots of $30,000 incentives, one of which is playing right now. Spooty Biscuit is doing Open ITG, I think. Yep.
Sounds
or
right.
not
yeah.
ITG.
Not
Never
ITG.
mind. That's a different one. Step Media / not ITG.
That was the big 150K donation.
Yes.
That got met right before we started the show as well.
That was during Pokemon Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby or whatever the hell it's called.
Yep.
Yep. Cool. So they are. I just had the page open and I didn't look at the total. I'm good at that. Let's see if it lets me not watch another ad. It's Twitch. I don't know if I can trust it.
Yeah, 50-50.
Okay. 1.74. Jeez.
Nice.
That's a lot of money in not even an hour. So continue with that. They are on pace for smashing a record for their previous marathons and whatnot. People are feeling a little better about donating this year. I didn't have the scratch to donate last year because of everything going on, and I did this year. So guessing that's the same for a lot of folks. But yep, it's doing real well. I'm going to shout out Skybills and Kizaron. They had a race this morning with Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, the 15-card mod of that game. It started just around 8:30 Central. Keys had a real bad time today. And understandably, he is legitimately upset. So people have been making a lot of comments based on some of the luck he's had in previous GDQ runs that he's had and whatnot. And of course, that continuing today because RNG is a shit when it wants to. He's not doing so great. So don't give him shit for that. The race was actually really good. Unfortunately, all of the luck went to Sky this morning. All of it. And yeah, she managed to finish about an hour under estimate.
Holy crap.
So there was a 3 hour and 10-minute estimate for this race. And she got everything she needed. And we saw some interesting rolls for prizes that happened as a result of the matches throughout the game
Mm-hmm.
that were similar to like 1 in 2048. Things that she hadn't seen in multiple months were happening today, and both good and bad.
Phew, marathon
Um,
luck.
So throughout that, there was a $30,000 donation incentive, of course, to speed run what was jokingly called Seto Kaiba percent. So what that was basically battling. So throughout the story of the game, you have to battle Kaiba multiple times.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So there's a chance for the Blue Eyes White Dragon to drop after the third story fight with Seto Kaiba if you manage to do the battle in such a way where it puts you into a certain rank and stuff. And sure, donation incentive met. Fine. Okay. So she loads up her save file with the like right before the fight kind of thing so she can choose it. And 1 minute 43.7 seconds. She got it first try. And they were like, what? So that was over real fast.
Oh, wow.
So I just have to shout that out. Like, it was a very entertaining race between the two. I feel really bad for Keys. He had some really cool things happening. Granted, he wasn't getting the cards he needed to finish the run, but he was getting some stuff that just doesn't show up.
Yeah.
So ordinarily, this game will give you 1 card as a result of winning a match.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to progress, you have to grind and grind and grind until you get cards that are strong enough to actually beat the later fights in the game. This will allow you to have 15 cards every time you win, so you have a greater chance of getting the cards you actually want.
Yeah.
So it makes it from a several tens of hours long run to finish this game to something that's accomplishable in apparently 2 hours. So lots of people put routing into this game because obviously this is a mod. You had to know where to farm for cards and at what point you needed to buy certain things with your star chips and whatnot. So it was pretty cool. I watched Sky practice this for months. She was very surprised it even got into the event because it's a card game, but
Mhm,
like
mhm.
you make it a race and it's suddenly much more interesting. So big shout outs to both of them. It was highly entertaining and one of the 2 reasons I woke up this morning, the other being work. So there you go. You got anything?
uh, you could have asked me like a couple hours ago to look for something, but
Well, you don't have to.
I am unfortunately not psychically connected to the news.
Oh,
So
come on. Actually, that's probably for the best. Like,
yeah, probably.
Yeah,
You're really
I don't
doing
know if I
yourself
would
a service
want
there.
to know every time that Square Enix does something stupid. So
Well, you know.
What is today? Friday? Day ending in Y? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Tracks.
All right. Well,
Then it's time for Toonskis, huh?
it is. Let's
Excellent.
start. Another Dream Will Start From Here by Zyko from The Legend of Zelda, going into The Narshmallow by Expert Novice from Final Fantasy VI, and ending this segment with Rainfall Rush by The Good Ice from Sonic Unleashed.
Okay, well, it's been another month yet again, half of which has been in this new year, the newest of years so far. What have we been playing?
I can only remember playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I'm sure I played something else. I don't remember it.
Well, let's see. Last time you were here, we did a round of golf.
Yeah. Okay. So we did Wii Sports Resort Golf.
Yeah.
We did 100-pin bowling.
Did some bowling, yeah.
And we also played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe here.
Mhm.
Did we do that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll trust you on remembering that one, because I don't remember that one, but...
I had to plug the Pro Controller into my laptop charger because it was the only long enough
right.
cable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know y'all did the Frisbee Dog thing
Did,
and the
yeah.
Aerial Ace thing, and I don't remember playing anything else.
Resort was a good time.
Yeah, no,
It
Wii
was
Sports
nice.
and Wii Sports
Mhm.
Resort, like,
Mhm.
bring me back to memories of visiting you in Minnesota. And
Right, yeah, over those couple summers I was there.
eventually you punching a Wiimote into the ceiling of your old apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah! Oh!
Hey, look, when you get excited, you get excited, okay?
It wasn't in the name of violence.
No,
I
it
will
wasn't
say that.
this time.
Oh no.
uh,
I'm reminded of somebody linking a clip, and I think it was in your Discord not too long ago, and I couldn't get it to load.
Oh, that's too bad. That one's really fun.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it isn't fun because that was genuine anger going on in that one. But
Oops. All right.
yeah,
Give me
well.
the play-by-play on that one because
Well,
I
it was-
couldn't get it on my shitty internet.
it was Hollow Knight, and it was doing one of those optional things, one of the kind of optional side quest things. The last step of it was named the Trial of Fools or something.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
and the description of it read like, you don't get anything for this other than knowing that you are a fool or whatever. I'm like, and me being the smart man that I am, I was like, no, they can't really mean that, right? You get something cool out of this, right? So I bashed my head on it for an hour or so, finally beat it, and you just get a very small amount of in-game currency. I'm like, fuck. So controller met ground. The parts that could break off of it broke off of it. And I'm like, all right, I'm done with this game.
And done.
Yep. That's more or less the TLDR on that story.
Did you ever go back to the game?
Oh yeah, I finished up the game.
Okay.
I was done with it for that
That's
night. You know,
more
like
than I can say.
you know what? They even
All right, cut
warned
stream.
me.
Boop.
They even warned me, like, you're a fool for doing this. So like, no, it can't be like that, right? You can't just do that. It's like, no, well, they
Just
were right.
Pointing
They were
and
right.
laughing at all the completionists.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Oh, hey,
Whatever.
I know Renby. Hi, Renby.
that's how that went down.
I still haven't played Hollow Knight yet. It's on my list of I want to do this. Okay, hell, what's the other game that's kind of like it, but you're a beetle?
What?
A beetle?
Is that not Hollow Knight? Maybe it
Hollow
is.
Knight is
When you are
definitely
sort
bug
of a
themed.
bug-ish
Oh, okay,
type
maybe that.
creature,
Well,
yeah.
what's the other one then? There's one that isn't Hollow Knight that's something similar. Ori, that's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I
Yeah, that's-
conflate those
that's
two
different.
games in my head a whole lot.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
I think Ori is more platformy, less combat-y, but
Yeah, sounds right. I think that's a game that I want to play at some point, but I haven't gotten around to it.
Ori has a fucking badass randomizer on PC though. Like they put a lot of effort into fucking with that game engine. Anyway, hello.
Hello.
I don't know of any other games I played, but big shrug. I want to play some more though.
Please do. Like, games are good.
Yes.
Good games for good people. All right. Well, since last time I was actually involved in playing Death's Door, as we were doing last show. I've finally now completed it.
Awesome.
I didn't do like the 100% completion of it because it involved a lot of stuff that I really should have been writing down what I had already done for a specific part of it. So I'm like, nah, I'm not going back for that. So I looked up what it led to. I'm like, that's pretty neat.
Cool.
And might actually go back and do it.
Okay.
With a map or something, because there's no way I'm scouring every corner of every area to see what I missed. And it's just like,
those take notes on patterns and
Yeah.
types of things.
yeah, it's like, oh, find all these things and put them here, and then get the other thing that it leads to, and do this. Like, okay, all right, I got things to do. Let's move this along. But it was a fun game. It was really good 3D-ish action adventure platformer type thing. And you got to yell at NPCs, which I do a lot of. So always fun.
Yeah, I kind of took that from you, I think, which I'm not upset with. It's definitely content. So
It is. Look, hey, if the NPCs are going to be all stupid, like of course I'm going to yell at them.
it's just what you do.
Yeah, right. I mean, how are they going to learn otherwise? So after that, I picked up Unsighted. This is a recommendation that came from Firetron. It's a very fun game. There is a particular set of mechanics in the game that they thankfully allow you to turn off. But the game itself kind of revolves around you have a limited amount of time to do things. Otherwise, the NPCs start dying off. Like in not necessarily real time, but it's like 1 minute of real time equates to 1 hour of in-game time, and certain characters only have like 80 to 160 hours of in-game time before they bite the dust. So thankfully they let you turn that off so you can explore at your own pace and you're feeling pressured to do things super fast. Other than that, it's a really fun game. It's good combat stuff to it. There's sort of a romance love story inbuilt with it, which is, the writing's okay. I'm not there for that particular story though. But I'm nearly done with that. I think I'm going to give it one more week. Then we'll probably be wrapped up with that and we can start on something new. Cool. So very fun. It's, top-notch sound design, great visuals, chunky-ass pixels, so...
I do like chunky-ass pixels.
Ticks a lot of boxes, honestly. It's real good. On the SBC side of things, Shmup Book Club, our monthly for January is Koryun, Child of Dragon, for the TurboGrafx 16, which apparently there are a lot of very stylish, goofy shmups for TurboGrafx 16.
I would not have guessed.
Yeah, and this one is very cartoony, very visually arresting. But boy, howdy, is it hard to look at after a while. So a lot of us in the Shmup Book Club have kind of given it the old one-day tryout, and yeah, that's enough of that. But yeah, it's a fair few of us have gotten a 1cc on it already.
Cool.
Which is great. And it turns out like the boards every month for each game generally tend to separate out into like 2 or 3 tiers. Like you got the all clears or the close to all clears, then the middle ground, and then the lower ground of it. But it's fine. It's all in the good fun. Like we don't really compete necessarily against each other except within those tiers. There's a lot of friendly ribbing back and forth about, hey, I'm a little bit higher than you. You better step it up, type shit. So yeah, that's always real fun. Our new quarterly for January through March, excuse me, is Sokyo Gorentai. It feels very Ray 4C in that there you have your normal shot and you also have a lock-on shot, and the scoring is very much based on the lock-on shot with how many enemies you kill at once, and
sure.
And it takes a few very kind of questionable difficulty increasing measures where anytime you use the regular shot, the difficulty starts edging up. And even when you pick up more power-ups, the difficulty starts edging up continuously. So it's just like, well, damn it. I want to get all the things. I want to shoot all the things. Let me do that without just totally wrecking my shit in stage 3, which, whatever. But that's fun. So that one's still going on. And then our second quarterly is still happening right now. That one's shit. EI's going to make fun of me endlessly for forgetting what it is. G-Darius. I remember what it is. That's going to end, I think, in February now. And I haven't put a score in for that just yet. But that's your standard Darius fare. Lots of weird crustacean and undersea life robots and all that. So it's got the typical Darius setup there. So that should be kind of fun once I get around to playing it. Been playing a few Link to the Past randos every now and again. I've started adding Shop Shuffle into the mix now.
Ooh,
which adds 30 slots into the pool because there's 10 shops with 3 items each. So that adds just a little bit more spice to things. Rupees become a little bit more valuable when you have to actually buy key items.
But you can buy rupees.
I think you can, actually. I think you can shuffle the 300
300
back.
rupees for 5 or some such before, and you're like, okay. Twist my arm, will ya?
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not like a whole new thing like an entrance rando or an inverted would be, but it adds just that little bit of extra thing
Sure.
to keep it fresh and cool, which is awesome.
I'd have to convince you to play one.
Yeah, I mean, we could play one on Sunday as part of the multi-world
Nah,
that's
before
coming up.
that. Come on.
Maybe we'll see.
Make you play things.
I've I dove quite a bit into Final Fantasy One, the PC remaster. I'm up
Oh.
to the final dive into Temple of Chaos. In
Awesome.
fact.
Okay.
I still remember pretty much everything from the OG Final Fantasy on the NES. It doesn't really change much.
It's true.
The quality of life they added in for maps and shit, just right at your beck and call, right on screen, is
So nice.
so good. The ability to move faster on the map is really good too. Like, Jesus, give me my kingdom for a run function. So that really cuts down just all the crap. The auto battle's even pretty good too. Like, hey, take my last action, just go, just do it. Not have to wait
I'm
for all
fine
those.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah, like that stuff is great. Like if it's just auto battle, hold A to win, not good. Just let me set something up and do it. Then it's fine.
Yep. So where was the difficulty spike for you?
There was the standard difficulty spike at Marsh Cave.
Always, yeah.
But then once I cleared Earth Cave, really, that's where it just kind of opens up, and it's not really all that tough.
Nope. I ended up having to do a little bit of grinding right before the last boss because, for whatever reason, like I was fine the entire last dungeon, and then got stomped. So I just ran around in circles around the door, and yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I anticipate I'll have to do a little bit of grinding in Temple of Fiends, not Temple of Chaos. Gross.
Yeah.
At the end game there too, but I'm like mid 40s already, just taking normal battles going through the game, so I'm not too worried.
I never ran from anything, so
yeah.
I think I was like 53 when I finished the game because my low 40s didn't survive.
I am kind of disappointed that they took out a lot of the grindable fights on spike tiles and stuff. Even that Hall of Giants in Earth Cave, they nerfed heavily.
Huh.
Because they only have the two like on-screen NPCs walking around that you engage
Okay.
in that little side corridor. Usually it's every step there's a battle in that particular section of hallway, but they took that out, which is unfortunate.
Interesting.
And then they took out the eye grind in Ice Cave, which sucks. It's like that was the big one that I was looking forward to do, but then they took that out too. It's like I'm guessing they probably took out Peninsula Power too, but I didn't check that one.
They did.
Mother shit.
However, if you get around to may I spoil something?
Go for it.
FF4.
Uh-huh.
So after you murder Rydia's mom, spoilers.
07 in chat.
Yeah, exactly. Was that Kaipo was the desert city?
Yep.
So if you go a little west of that instead of heading north, on the or not west, east.
East, the other west.
So if you go all the way east and then up like against the mountain there, you get enemies from like 2 zones ahead.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So if you are patient and you manage to win some battles with most of your characters dead and you keep going back and trying again, you can get some quick levels that way. That's the only one I was aware of that was like that, but that is not in the original FF4.
Oh, really? They put that in? Ah,
Yeah.
Intriguing.
So they definitely rezoned where some enemy encounters happened, or at least the pool of encounters that you can have. So yeah, Peninsula Power is totally just gone. But now you got to do FF2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably just gonna chunk through them once I finish.
Are you streaming those?
No.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
doing that on the side because, like, well, I mean, it's standard Jerpig fare. Plenty of other people do it in a more entertaining fashion than I would, so I'll leave them to it.
But I want to hear you voice act.
I don't voice act. Okay, I do voice act, but
I was gonna say, come on, man, that's a lie. But nah, I have not yet played FF5 Pixel Remaster. I've been holding off until I can stream. That keeps getting pushed out. So FF5, yeah. FF6 though, I don't know what to expect with that. People are speculating bad things about it. I'm like, don't do this to me. It's my favorite game. Come on. So I don't know when that one's supposed to release. It was allegedly going to release.
I thought it
January
had
but
already.
It
No, did
I
it
don't
not?
think so I thought it was delayed. Maybe look that up so I can cry about it if it's out already. I would have seen people tweet about that. pretty
I don't
sure.
know. I just remember seeing the huge list of Final Fantasy Roman numerals in my thing here. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, not yet available. Boo! Steam, you lied to me.
Yeah.
Piece of shit. All right, yeah, it is only up
I
to
was
5.
gonna say, oh, don't play with my heart, man.
No. I mean, I saw it in the
Okay.
list. I figured it was downloadable, but
We
guess
should
not.
really just get a mobile streaming setup going for next month.
Yeah, so remember that time when I bought some USB 3 capture cards because they were stupid cheap and people were like, hey, these are weirdly compatible with OSSC output.
Uh-huh.
And then the price went up like 4 times.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I had bought 2 at that point, one of which is back in Austin. The other is at Eon's house.
Well, there you go.
So I
Perfect.
need to remember to ask her for that because
Yeah, fair.
although all of my OSSC everything is on Crash Plan and I have to download it again and I don't have a mixer and gross. But
Well, I know where you can find a mixer amongst many other hardware things. So,
yikes. Oh no, don't do this to me.
hey, look, all right. I want to get it out of her house, and I want to get the money back. All right. Anyways.
We have a marathon's worth of equipment sitting in Eon's
Yes,
basement still.
yes, we do.
Can't imagine why. But someday, someday.
Yeah, someday in the after times.
Yeah, that reminds me of FF4 The After Years. There you go.
Oh.
I don't want to think about years.
Was that ever a good game? I don't remember hearing much about it.
Okay, so I'm confused. We played it, actually.
We did?
Yes.
When?
So I downloaded it totally legitimately and legally on my Wii. It played like the original FF4, in which that it was side-scrolling and had a battle system with menus and shit.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there was a version that was all 3D like, where like there were phases of the moon and it affected your stats and all this other shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is this game?
Wasn't that a 3DS release or something like that?
I don't know. It was on PC as well.
Oh. Ooh.
So I thought it was that game when it was like $5 on a Steam sale at one point. I was like, yeah, I'll play that again. Nope, completely different game.
Wild.
So this
Okay.
is like Cecil and Rosa are grown up now,
Yeah,
and
they
they
have
had a kid.
kids and yeah.
Yeah, except this is totally fucking different.
What the hell? Are they pulling some weird ass like Dirge of Cerberus type shit?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
So maybe you can look that up during our next break and be like, okay, where the fuck is the difference between these two identically named games? But no, I remember playing the one on Wii, and I was like, they had like 4 different scenarios, and we played through all 4 of them, and it was cool. And I don't know, the 3D version is just a totally different game with just like, here's a plot and a story, go.
Well, I know it was like sort of episodic type shit. I thought it was anyways. Maybe that's not the one we played.
The one that we played is what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
The one that's on Steam.
The other
is
3D one is
the
not like
same.
that. God, why do
So-
they do this?
I don't know. Maybe it's the same plot with a totally different presentation or something, but man, I was confused.
Okay.
I
well.
played like a half hour of it once and I was like, I'm scared, and then turned it off. So, wow, I've gotten us all on tangents now because of
That's
Final
right. It was
Fantasy.
all stuff we kind of played many years ago, so it counts.
dot dot dot.
I guess outside all that is we played that round of golf between us. I actually managed to. I played a couple of rounds of golf after that as well, like during the couple weeks following, and also a round of golf with Space 006 and another other person as well. So, yeah, I don't know. Wii Sports Resort is fantastic. Like, normal Wii Sports was the tech demo essentially of all that, but they nailed the motion controls in Wii Sports Resort at the very least.
It was
It was a
very
lot of fun.
primo.
Yep. Lots of good times.
And Rosemary's.
And sages and parsnips.
There you go.
Simon Garfunkel, by the way, we looked it up
I
earlier.
was gonna say
It's the one I was thinking of.
Now everyone knows.
Yeah.
And I will promptly forget.
I'm sure. Yeah, naturally. But I think that's all. Oh no, Vlad, what you been playing besides what we've just been comboing back and forth about?
I have never played a Final Fantasy game in my life, so I had nothing to contribute.
Play FF1 first, please. gain an
Which
appreciation.
version though?
OG,
Like NES?
OG
Yeah, okay.
all the way, man. You gotta suffer like the rest of us
Yes,
did.
actually, hey,
I'm
we could just
certain
boot that
that
up.
they're going to force me through it at some point, but in the meantime, I've been playing other video games.
Oh, they're fun.
I
video games.
guess.
Oh boy. Let's see. Obviously, the aforementioned Wii Sports Resort. I've been playing. I played a little bit of New Super Lucky's Tale. Still
Fantastic game.
slowly working
mhm.
my way through that one. Very enjoyable to play casually. Super chill. Lots of good platforming action. Tunic. I played part of. I got like what 2 hours into the demo.
We did those
maybe
both here.
Hour and a half.
That was the last time
That's
we played
right,
Super
Tunic.
Lucky's
Hey,
Tale.
hey,
I know, dear. I'm explaining.
It was after the radio show, so
It
counts.
was, I guess.
Yeah,
so,
I wouldn't be talking about it if I had talked about it last
I
time.
understand. I understand.
No, that was a fun demo. I found the gameplay slightly more challenging than expected once I got into it a little bit, but I was starting to figure out, effective strategy and whatnot. Definitely excited to play that one when the full release is out.
Which is allegedly soon. I heard
Yeah.
March. So
Yeah, I think there was some rumblings about it that we might have even discussed on the show last time too.
probably.
So like, hey, remember this
Yep.
game from 2016 that we saw at PAX 2016?
Yeah. Well, hey, we
Soon.
downloaded that demo
Right.
and we played. Well, Vlad played some of it, so
Yep.
and we looked on and we are like, hey, there's chest. Hey, get the chest. Come on.
We backseat gamed, in other words, is what we were doing.
Which
Yeah.
we're both fucking great at.
Oh boy.
I'm sure you think so. Anyways,
Sorry.
Aside from that, I played a smidge more Ocarina of Time. I will eventually
Oh,
work
yeah.
my way through that, but just kind of as I have time, chipping away at that one. And most of what I've been playing in the last couple weeks, on a whim inspired by watching Sky was doing Ironman Kaizo runs.
Yeah.
And I found them intensely dissatisfying to watch because the rules are so strict and it's so unforgiving that it's like 85% of the time is just failing the first battle and restarting your run. And it's like, but there's a place for that, and there's nothing wrong with people who enjoy that kind of thing. I just
sure. Huh.
roguelike type things to me, if they're so RNG dependent that you can't even get a run off the ground more than half the time, then it doesn't feel like it's worth playing to me. But anyways,
Let me tell you a little thing about Spelunky 2.
Oof.
the
Made it out of one
important
point,
thing
okay.
there though is that's based on Fire Red, which was the first Pokemon game I ever played, and that got me wanting to play a Pokemon game again. I had never actually completed Gen 5. I got like an hour or two into it on a friend's cartridge once. So I've been working my way through Pokemon White. So I'm a good way into that now.
You're only like 2 gym badges, aren't you?
Well, sure, but I put a good amount of time into
Okay, that's
grinding
fair.
on it.
It's a foothold. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it is.
I've played it like 5 or 6 times in the past couple weeks and put a good hour or two in each time. So
I would like to see that again. That
yeah,
was nice.
yeah, I was enjoying my way through that. I've been surprised at how similar, like, obviously it's a new region and there are new Pokemon and all that, but in a lot of ways it's very similar to the Gen 4 DS Pokemons, which makes sense because it was still DS, but they changed fewer of the core assets than I had remembered. There are some quality of life things that are nice versus Gen 4, and some fit and finish things that are a little different. For the most part, though, I've definitely been enjoying it. The soundtrack's pretty great, and the gameplay's all right. I think I had mostly just lost interest because of the Pokemon designs themselves at that point in the franchise were not very strong.
Trubbish.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
the
Clink
dumbass
and-
key ring?
Yeah,
and-
there were
and
some
literal
real,
trash.
real
Yeah,
weak
okay.
ones for that gen, and that just kind of made me stop paying attention for a little while. And from what I understand, Gen 6 wasn't too much stronger, but it seems like things have gotten better in recent years. And
The ones I haven't played, of course.
yeah. So
I was so disenchanted with Gen 6 and the lack of a story. I was just kind of like, and
Yeah.
gave away my copy of Pokemon Moon to someone whose shipment never showed up. But
Okay, I was gonna ask which color of Pokemon was Gen 6, but that was
that
the
was
Sun,
and
Moon one.
Yeah.
I thought 6 was XY.
6 is XY. Sorry. Moon and Sun are Gen 7.
Okay.
7. Yeah.
Which set of them was where the story took like a really dark turn? Was that XY or was that some other one? Like maybe not dark, maybe like way more serious than the Pokemon games had
Gen
previously
5 has
been.
definitely been more serious. I
Yeah.
think you might
Yeah.
be thinking of that.
Okay,
that
that
could
could
be
be.
Gen 5.
The whole like
Was it Black and White that did the whole like, oh, we're actually gonna take over the world and like screw up the whole ecological system or whatever? It's like, whoa, Jesus,
No,
settle.
this was liberating Pokemon.
Yeah, Gen
okay,
5 is
that
all
might have
like
been
the ethics of Pokemon battling and
Right,
like, you know,
okay.
and people.
we're taking over to liberate your Pokemon, and like, you know, you shouldn't be allowed to have your own Pokemon anymore, and we need to free them. And you know.
Meanwhile, they're literally like punting them and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
okay,
like,
yeah. Like, wow, this is
no.
a game for children, huh?
something eco-terrorism.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, no, I've been enjoying getting back into a Pokemon game. It had been a good long while, so that has been most of what I've been doing. Obviously, we've been watching GDQ, so we've been spending a good bit of time this past week watching games rather than playing them, but
Which
what
I will
you do
shout
with-
out again.
yeah, AGDQ is definitely a good time. Speaking of PS5 earlier, had never actually seen gameplay from a Ratchet and Clank game, but they speedran the newer one for PS5. Definitely enjoyed that run enough to want to play the game. So I filed that away for later, but
Yeah, if we ever see a PC release.
well, I mean,
Uh-huh.
just in general, other games in that franchise available for systems which you already own, but
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
fair.
what?
I don't know. I thought you had more.
Oh, I was just like pausing for a breath, and you gave me a weird look.
No, we must keep a strict timetable. Go.
No dead air.
Yeah, I would be oh god.
Oy.
Regret. Anyway, hi.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
But that's the majority of what I've been playing in the past while. I've dinked around a teeny bit on Switch and whatnot, but not haven't put any dedicated time into anything otherwise,
fair.
at least that I can think of.
Very good. Then, dead air. It's time to move on to Toonski's Part 2. We'll start with a remix from Perfect Dark entitled Silent Disruptor by Michael Hudak, followed by a remix from Pop and Twin Bee Rainbow Bell Adventures entitled Mr. Greenhill by Evan Hackstock, and then finally a remix from Flashback entitled A Quest for Identity by Astral Tales. lying. That song didn't end for another 6 seconds. This fucking thing lied to me.
Meep.
It said it had 6 seconds left. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I got time. But no, okay, guess we're gonna go into the end song already.
You have crossfading turned on?
I
or
do
something?
not.
It beeped. Yes.
No, there was no crossfading. It was just like, oh, you got 6 seconds left, buddy. You know, plenty of time.
The file just has incorrect size or something.
I guess it just kind of was like, all right, whatever. So, anyways, time for some design.
Yeah, I suppose.
So let's pull up that old random designer thing and get going here.
Okay.
So standard rules as before. We allow ourselves 3 rolls of this. If we don't like the first one, we take the second roll. If we don't like the second roll, we take the third roll. But then that's it. We're stuck with it. We don't go back, and we gotta deal with what we deal with. So let's go.
All right. Pushing the button the first time. All right. 2 genres. You ready?
Yep, let's go.
Hack and slash. Second is farming.
Okay, a little on the nose, but all right.
Woof. The rule: start small.
Okay.
All right.
right.
So far, that's
Well,
all
that's so
coalescing.
Yeah, it's Harvest Moon. Very good.
So about that, the setting is Western,
Okay.
All right, it's okay. It's a curveball.
and the theme is rich versus poor.
Oh
This
no!
game writes itself.
Oh
Wow.
no! Why? Why though?
Oh yeah.
All right.
I don't recall ever playing Rune Factory. Hey! What's that game that we tried to figure out on Wii and just never did? It wasn't Rune Factory. It was something else. This
be
weird tower
A
thing.
little more specific. Baroque?
Yeah.
Was it like a roguelike dungeon crawler?
Sort of thing? Yeah. I did not
Yeah,
understand
that
game.
one was weird. Like we couldn't make anything out of it.
Rune Factory reminds me of the visions I saw of you playing that game, and I know it's wrong, but I had to bring it up.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So hack and slash farming, I can get behind. Start small is whatever. Western is kind of okay. Rich versus poor. Like what in the hell?
The tycoon who owns the land, and
Yeah, I guess.
yeah, whatever.
Like this sounds very Harvest Moon to me. Like the Western theme discounted, of course. This is like literally Harvest Moon.
Cowboy
I think
Harvest Man.
Natsume would be very upset if we tried to make this game.
Probably. I'm willing to re-roll this one because this
Yeah.
is like it's not necessarily easy to do, but it's just kind of
Dull.
boring and dull. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, second push of the generate button.
Alrighty.
All right. The genre is art game.
Oh boy.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
The rule is magic gone wrong.
All right.
Okay.
The setting is dystopia. Uh-huh.
All right.
And the theme is technology gone nuts.
Wow. Okay. So magic and technology are just going haywire all over the place here.
So
It's like chicory without order.
yeah,
Yeah.
my immediate headcanon is like, wandering the dystopian wasteland and ruined city and like finding artifacts and whatnot, but they're all like cursed or broken or somehow,
Hit me, cursed and broken.
either were created by or led to the destruction of whatever society, and so like all the magic is screwed up, all the tech is screwed up, etc.
Everything is different art styles and perspectives.
And so like people are trying to like use these artifacts to gain power or influence or do something,
So
but
was
they're
it-
actually corrupted. Or
Was it like Tower of Babel but with art styles type thing instead
Yeah.
of spoken languages? Like,
yeah, maybe
I guess.
that could do it.
hmm.
Or you could treat it like Terranigma, and that it's an art game, and that it starts off with time is stopped and there's no color, and then you gradually get everything back to normal again, and I don't know,
Is that kind of how Terranigma went?
kind of.
I just remember towers and inside of the sphere and
Yeah,
weird
it started
perspectives
out
and
as this
shit.
weird, like, time is kind of frozen, and there was just, like, monochromatic bullshit going on, and I don't know. I don't remember much of that game. It was weird.
Shadowrun is pretty close to this too, isn't it?
I'm not familiar.
That's a weird like sci-fi not quite cyberpunk, but also magic and high fantasy. And I watched, actually presciently, I watched a couple runs of this the other day. One for Genesis and one for SNES. That was actually quite interesting.
All right, yeah, you'll have to educate me then. Sorry.
But it is an interesting mix that does hew very
Ooh.
close to this set of things too.
Big time tabletop RPG thing. Yeah, I'm all right. Sounds good to me.
And also that, yeah. I was thinking of the console releases. For sure. I don't know. I could see us making something out of this one, or we could risk it all and go with the third roll again. But we might end up with another erotica. So who knows?
It feels
All right.
like more often than not you end up like going to the third roll.
See, it's almost the meta at this point though,
kinda
because
is.
like
Yeah,
we go through the first two and it's like, okay,
It's
these
like
are
a
things we
warm-up.
could have made,
Yeah.
but now we're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
All right, prime your zippers, I guess.
All right, here we go.
Oh boy,
Hmm.
Uh-oh.
is this a veto?
Did we do a
or-
bad?
The genre is co-op.
Okay.
Decent
So far,
start.
so good.
It gets worse.
Oh, no.
The rule is you are your enemy.
Okay.
Okay.
The setting is dark fantasy.
Oh, okay.
All right.
And the theme is pursuit.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
That sounds like pretty close to one we made a couple shows ago, honestly. The whole "you are your enemy" bit.
Remind me.
It was like by the series of actions you took, it reveals something about yourself, and I don't know. I don't remember much beyond that, to be honest with you.
Eh.
Okay, well, I mean, we're stuck with this one, so we gotta go with
It
it.
seems a little more viable.
Yeah, like it's not impossible. The whole co-op bit kind of throws this a
It's
touch.
pursuit. Like you're chasing after something, you're pursuing them.
Yeah. So like this is almost literal nightmare stuff.
Yeah.
The co-op is an interesting bit in it.
So that makes the whole "you are your enemy" thing have another layer to it as well, because it's like, are
Yeah.
you both your enemy? Is one of you the enemy?
I
and
know
you're
what game
working
this
together,
is.
Or...
Oh no, do we have another like easy parallel here?
This is kind of Celeste.
Is it?
It kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, is Celeste does
Madeline
Celeste
and
have
Badeline.
co-op though?
Well, I mean,
No, not
It's like
really.
that
But-
really does take it
Well,
a different
I mean,
direction.
but
Theo-
Badeline.
Theo
okay,
in there, you
Theo.
carry Theo and throw the crystal. To
Yeah.
open.
mhm.
Co-op in the very loosest sense.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
thinking abstractly with the whole Badeline Madeline.
Oh yeah. That's
I
definitely
think
like you are
that
your
much
enemy
makes
type
sense,
thing.
but like the
But in the co-op thing too, because like you have to work together
That
to
is
get through
true,
the
yeah.
stages.
There
so-
are those segments, yeah. Mm-hmm.
while you're in pursuit.
But I feel like
Pursuits,
that
yeah.
fits this loosely enough that you can really take this set of things in a completely different direction
Oh, yeah.
and end
Yeah,
up
yeah,
with
yeah.
a widely different game. So
But
it's not
that's
like
the
it's cookie
point.
cutter.
Mm-hmm.
What direction do we want to stumble down on this one?
See, I just keep like coming back to the whole like
How
how do we define you
huh.
are your enemy? Like where do we go with that?
I have an idea.
Okay.
I have to think of the direction in which to. It's kind of like Bones File the game. So you start a roguelike, for instance. Like we can just do any roguelike. We'll call it NetHack for now, just as
Sure.
as a.
It's an easy baseline that most people know about and understand, right?
So you have a frame of
Understand.
reference. So you play, you die, you start again, except you have to kill your prior self.
Oh.
Okay.
Huh.
So you already know what you're going to do because you already played that self.
Something
And it will
time
follow
loop.
your exact move set that you did before. Well, it'd have to do its own thing if it survived after it died the first time. But like there would have to be some reason, some dark, corrupt reason, this purgatorial reason to keep going and pursuing your own death. over and over endlessly. But
That's heavy looper vibes
Yeah, I
to
was
it.
gonna say
Yes.
this is very time loop.
Yeah.
gee, it's like the theme of GDQ this week.
Eh?
But yeah, I kind of like that, but I am willing to entertain other premises.
No, I like it. I'm trying to think of like what the end game to it is. Like what's the
Escaping it.
what's the purpose? Like how would you escape it though by killing your pseudo past self?
So I think okay. So
And how is it co-op?
Yeah.
so hear me out though.
Right.
Like it's co-op in the fact that you are working with yourself to try to end the loop, but you're presently forced into it. So you start the first time around and you're playing just this normal thing and you just happen to die. Okay, fine. So you start again. So you get the weird cursed cutscene at the end of your first death where it's like, haha, you're being resurrected, but now you must do this. But after a while, the loop continues, and you start to be able to give yourself, your future selves, tools to make the loop stop.
So do you start out helping your prior selves to escape their own deaths so you can proceed towards this objective that you were given at the very beginning type thing?
See, I'm thinking of it as you have a reason to prevent your former selves from succeeding.
See.
After you loop
Okay.
a certain number of times and you realize that it's not going to stop looping unless you stop doing that.
So then you stop your next former selves from offing your previous former selves so that
So
your,
over
your
time,
most previous former self can continue on without getting murdered by your subsequent former self.
So it's kind of like The Good Place. So they started off bad and ended up good, but then their memories were erased and they had to start over again. But they had to convince themselves that it was a lie again. So I would think as the loops continue onward, you're leaving yourself more and more clues and tools to convince the next iteration of you that this thing that you think you have to do isn't right.
I see. Okay.
Oops.
So would your earlier selves be almost intentionally dying and leaving things for your future selves to kind of increase the chance that you can succeed and break this loop?
So my thinking is, as you start realizing what you're doing and you're trying to provide those hints and tools and stuff, you're offed by something else.
Okay.
Or you're offed by this loop of yours because you're convinced for whatever reason that nope, this isn't the actual truth.
Right.
But
right.
after a while it becomes convincing enough where you start to question it and then it gets mad at you. And eventually you're starting basically from the first loop all over again and then succeeding because you have these tools and the foresight and the knowledge that you had that you
Right.
didn't before.
And then all your previous / future iterations are fighting amongst themselves, some trying to help you and some trying to kill you,
Essentially, yeah.
while your first self tries to actually complete what it now knows is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so that could get interesting in that it's like how much overlap is there, because you're not like you're kind of implying there may be multiple versions in play at the same time, like more than just you and the next version. Like how much do we stack this? Because that could be a convenient out as far as like having scripted or AI driven events that help or kill you, but then not having to then force the player to actually go and do those things in a future life of it. Because if you have some kind of like, you know, heavily overlapped multiverse kind of approach to
Yeah.
it, where
It's this weird time loop Metroidvania thing.
yeah,
sort
so
of.
like some of the things that you do to yourself are things that you're doing as player character versus things that the game
right.
is doing.
And then if you overlap it too much, eventually it becomes just an all-out brawl between like 10 copies of yourself just in this massive blood arena.
So you can make it a little less confusing something like this. So you're forced into this loop. You don't know how to get out of the loop, but this is just the way it is. And after a while, you discover a mechanism by which you can leave one piece of information for your next loop self. And after a while, the information kind of builds on itself, and eventually you find the solution, or a solution, or at least enough information to speculate what you need to do to make this thing stop. And then, once you figure it out, you're back to your first self again, and you go do the thing, or you die trying.
So the other question in my mind with something like that is, how do you make it so that, because I mean, obviously the player sees every iteration, so they're gonna know whatever
Right.
end goal they're working towards. How do you force the player into following, whatever in-game method of conveying that information to? Because like the player's memory isn't going to reset each time their character dies, so they have to like what's the method in game by which the protagonist's choices are limited, that is then freed up by that information they pass on
Right.
from loop to loop.
Then
or life to
mechanically
life.
it
Yeah.
becomes way more like a Metroidvania. Like, okay, now I as the player know that I need to get to such and such area or reach this thing or do this thing before the loop expires, right? So I'm going to specifically go off the path I previously was on, go get this item, and then eat shit in such a way that my next loop will be able to pick this up and be like, oh yeah, now I can go do
Right,
whatever,
yeah, like
right?
Yeah,
what are
that's-
the mechanics? You have to kind of figure something out along those lines. So you could do it like that, where it's kind of like items and location gating and that sort of thing. Or
Right, yeah.
the other question is, how much is their dialogue or choice-based events in this game? Because you could also limit based on like, okay, what does your player character actually like know, quote unquote, and then they'll be able to say different things or have new dialogue options or event opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just like
So
an area you would have to figure out. Like getting into this time loop stuff is complex.
Right. So like one of the gating sequences then could be eventually you as the player figure out that you as the player in previous loops were trying to prevent you as the player from the first loop from doing something. So maybe one of the gating events or a piece of equipment or something is for the first loop to be able to defend itself against subsequent loops for, one or two iterations. And then that's the major act break there. Act 1 to
Oh.
Act 2 being like, oh, hey, I have some way to defend myself now. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, could definitely do that.
I'm pondering all kinds of things now. Like, what if the loops are to scare your original self, I guess, scare your previous self from going a direction or influencing their decision to go in a particular direction because you do something to make it
Right.
impassable or something.
Yeah, you block the path or whatever it happens to be. Light it on fire.
And if
do
they really
something.
insist on going there, you just kill them. Next turn.
Or they somehow make it through because you're a god gamer, or
Not me.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of interesting possibilities for breakpoints there to either really accelerate the Act 1 to Act 2 to Act 3 transition, or to make the intervening time more interesting.
Mm-hmm. So far we've talked a lot of mechanics, not a lot of setting, plot, or style.
Well, I mean, I've been trying.
Yeah.
I
I
just
think it
saying,
ties
like,
together.
We should perhaps start to brainstorm some of that.
Or the next loop. Okay. Like, yeah, we've pretty much solidified inventory mechanics objective. Like, this is how these things occur or could occur, right, to progress towards whatever the initial objective is supposed to be.
Right.
And that really covers the story and hook too, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
you have to complete a given mission, but you keep getting in your own way.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what it boils down to.
Yeah. Very generic, but hey, like, I'm
So-
not a
It
writer.
works.
What does it kind of culminate in as far as the two different directions that your various selves are pulling in? Is that as time goes on, you get more information and you decide that one thing is the right thing and you figure out how to orchestrate that, or is it a, you know,
Yeah, what are you initially trying to achieve that
Are
you
there-
figure out that you're not supposed to achieve?
are there multiple, like, the timeline split and there's, you know, two different versions of you that are working towards different aims, and like, how, I guess, like, how do we explain or direct the end game?
Like, now this is starting to become a little bit Total Recall to me,
Yeah,
right?
that's definitely
Like, oh shit, and who the fuck am I, right?
not a bad
Like,
influence. Yeah.
Hmm.
I suppose if you were going full Total Recall, then the protagonist starts out with amnesia, which we didn't necessarily say was the
Right.
case. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't necessarily have to go that direction.
That's a movie I still have.
I mean, we don't know that amnesia is a factor in play, right? Maybe that's something they figure out as the story progresses, right?
Selective amnesia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, anyways, so we got our settings. Players probably 1. I cannot fathom the difficulty we would have with actual more than one person trying to do this stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Although maybe having actually 2 players to do this would solve some of the info sharing dilemma as well.
I was
but
wondering about that, and see, like, the interesting idea I had was having there be some realization or some mechanic wherein one player is controlling the, like, future version of
Mhm.
the main character, whereas the, you know, player 1 is controlling the, like, original version, but that could get kind of complicated as far as, like, how to set that up without it being immediately obvious to both players what was going on.
This also almost lends itself pretty well to something where it's you get one run and then you pass it to the next person for the next run.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you keep passing it along, and with each loop you get one piece of information or one piece of equipment or something passed to the next person. They get to see like the synopsis of what happened and then decide what they're going to do, and they have no idea if it's the right thing to do or
That
not.
could be a good way of doing it. Yeah, especially if you either had, like, an honor system or a, you know, some other means of, like,
Yeah, this
player 1 doesn't view well player 2 is playing.
right.
you
Like
know?
this is a very like almost async type thing. Like, hey,
Yeah.
you've done your run, now the next person waiting in the pool takes it over, gets the item or the info that was passed along from the previous run, and then goes at it.
That could actually, I mean, I feel like that would be a more fun way to do it, and a little more original than just, you know, hey, you have to get this key and then die, and then you
Right.
can go to this
Yeah,
door
yeah.
your next life and unlock it, kind of thing.
Yeah. So really that's players like either a single player or like this whole chain of people.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. You
This
could
collective.
make some kind of option.
Collective of players, right?
Oh God.
Or collective. Huh? Oh no. Did you have a thought?
Chain of people who are preventing people from doing stuff. A blockchain.
Oh god.
Yeah, I
Gross.
know. It's bad. It's so bad.
Oi.
Wah, wah.
I mean, we've talked about mechanics, right? We're getting to the setting of things, but mechanistically, like this doesn't even have to be restricted to any particular style of game,
Not
right?
really.
Like it could be anything. It could be a basic bitch ass puzzle game for all we know. Who knows?
My mental image is top-down 2D, like dungeon crawler type, look or layout, but that's just one idea. I mean,
Yeah, I mean that would certainly suit the whole bones file passing items to the next loop type thing, right?
right.
And it would almost have to be a no proc gen levels here, because
Right, yeah, it wouldn't be
it would have to
randomized. It'd be
be.
very
Well, I mean, it could be randomized to like generate the world as it
right,
stands,
but
but
from
then it would
run
have
to
to
run to
be.
run, it'd be
Yeah,
consistent.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it would give you plenty of opportunities for branching story options,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
hidden areas or side quests, or information that might change or influence how the story progresses.
Right. And I think if it were kind of a larger-ish navigable world at the start, there would probably have to be some sort of time limit per run or per loop, because you wouldn't
Well,
want just one
so
person fucking around forever.
we have that theme of pursuit, right? I
Right.
mean, there's
Yeah.
the idea that your future loop self is coming to kill you, so you have to like evade them for as long as you
Mm-hmm.
can, or that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you can't evade them because they're your future self, so they know every move you're going to make
Yeah.
before you make it, so you just have a straight time limit as to like how long does it take them to catch up to you.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I was architecting it from
Yeah.
the beginning, but I'm obviously kosher with this.
But then maybe that's also a bit of information that follows for the next loop. Is like, you were killed over here, they came from this direction or from this area, and you saw that they had this or something.
Yeah,
And then you
that
can
works.
defend against that. The next person to play the loop then understands that's what maybe they can guard against.
Hmm.
And then something changes and they get offed anyway. So
Yeah, because like the future player is always one step ahead.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And maybe that's what the next player starts with then. It's like, oh hey, yeah, this, and then their objective becomes, oh hey, go prevent this person that you don't know is really the next or the
So
previous player.
this gives me an idea. Maybe not a good one. Maybe yes, but so maybe how this whole thing like starts in theory is like the protagonist goes back in time to stop themselves from doing something that had some kind of impact in the future. Um, Details are able to be fudged with, but
Right.
like the
Hand
idea
wave.
is that it starts by the protagonist goes back in time to stop themselves, and um, accidentally creates this time loop when they stop or kill themselves originally, and so then like something happened in universe at that time that caused it to be a time loop and not just them dying and the timeline changing. um and so then it becomes this like, oh, now everything is caught in this loop, so
Right.
part of the plot could be figuring out like what's going on with this time loop, or like what caused it, and uh trying to understand in the present what events happened in the future that caused you to want to come back in time and off yourself.
Right, yeah. You were given the mission to stop this person, but you don't know that that person was really you. And then by the time
Right.
you piece enough of it together to realize that it was you, then next loop in line there offs you, and then
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's about as much curvature as we're gonna get on a time loop story here, I think. Boy,
How many layers do we want to go?
I don't know, Shrek.
that oof. So, graphic style, audio style, point of view.
I think first person would be interesting for this.
First person.
First person, interesting.
Yep. I could see this being WASD with mouse.
Okay, that would bring us into 3D territory, would it not?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure would. 3D. KBM, WASD, ETSC. Or if people want to use game packs, I know some people like
Yeah.
playing game pads with their FPSs like
Got-
this guy.
Got to do your console
Me
releases.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, 3D graphic style. Again, like the specific style of it really isn't that important, I don't think, in
Yeah,
this
it would
case.
depend on the plot and what you're trying to go for with the
Mhm.
overall vibe.
And audio style is kind of in that same vein too. Like this is all aesthetic decisions that perhaps aren't really dictated by this whole time loop dillabop that we got going on. And I'm okay with not specifying it in this case because we already did a lot of heavy thinking about the
Yeah.
time
Yeah,
loop.
yeah. I feel like this trends more towards sci-fi than fantasy in some ways, but it is like dark fantasy
Sure.
is the
Yeah.
the thing it was given, so you definitely want some of that.
Mm-hmm. So then that really leaves the title, which I've already got one filled in. N+1 is what I had thought about, but
Sure.
I'm okay to anything else.
That is a pretty good working
So
title
long
for
as it
sure,
is
yeah.
a stylized N.
Sure.
There you go. The
Make
whole
the protagonist's
italic
name,
N thing.
make
Yeah.
the protagonist's name either N or start with N, just to like
Right, to really
have the
drive
full
it
gimmick.
home.
Yeah.
There you go.
Perfect.
Ned.
See? Idly ho!
Oh, that'd be a great game.
Oh god, time traveling Ned Flanders.
No. Offing
Needs
a
to
forever
stop
time
Ned
loop in Ned
Flanders.
Well, it would leave itself well open to steamed hams.
It really
being
would.
part of the
Like,
game.
there you go. It's a legit mission objective to go find out the secret of the steamed hams or
Yep.
something. Who knows?
No, you have to go. Oh, no. No.
Oh, come on. That's one of the few memes that's actually awesome.
It is, but it's just going to get me on another tangent again.
Yeah, fair enough.
The
And we
quest for
have,
Aurora Borealis. All right, moving on.
Oh, my God.
Uh,
But hey, I think this one kind of came together pretty well. Like considering, we weren't even dealt something particularly weak, but I think we turned it into something stronger than what it originally was.
yeah. I really liked that collective idea when we were talking about ways to multiplayer it. I think like there aren't too many. I mean, like you have some kind of party or multiplayer games that do a little bit of that sort of thing, but there aren't as many video games these days that have like a real world component to like, oh, you take turns passing the controller, or like, you know, like keep talking and nobody explodes, where like
Right,
one person
yeah.
has the screen and they're like
That's-
having a voice component.
That's a little bit what I was thinking
not that
about
this
too.
would be that, but like that kind of like
That bit of separation of knowledge
Yeah.
versus actually being able to impact the thing is a really neat thing that needs to be explored more honestly.
and it makes it a little more engaging than just like two people sitting next to each other holding controllers.
Yeah.
It is a. I'm choosing my terms very carefully, but it is a transactional game.
Yeah,
I
it's true. You
I
commit the
suppose, yeah.
transaction at the end. It's hand it off to the next person.
Uh-huh.
No microtransactions though; those
No,
are off
no.
limits.
It's true. But what if it's only a tiny shred of knowledge?
I mean, it is like by design, like one piece of knowledge.
in a funny way, like kind of unintentionally, it could almost be like a little more of like a social deduction thing as well, because like who's to guarantee that everyone who's playing is going to be working toward the same objectives?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So like you could have someone who is like intentionally kind of misleading the group toward something, or you could even have it so that like one player is secretly like playing the future loop character and like
Right. Yeah.
obstructing the other players or something.
Here is your new objective. Here's the actual true objective that you're trying to do. Everybody else gets fed this other variant.
Right,
of it.
yeah. You could certainly twist it up a little that way.
All right, I like it. Ship it.
Ship it. Ship it. Approved. All right, that's bringing us to the end of round 98 here then. Anything else we wish to impart to the audience at large? Otherwise, we can wrap for tonight.
I can't think of anything.
Very good. Well, As always, thank you for joining us, everybody. I'm Mr. Bond,
And I'm Tormod.
And I'm Bled.
and we'll leave you with our typical closing track, a remix from Mario Kart Wii entitled Wind in Your Hair by Overclocked University. Good night, everybody.
Ciao.